Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. It is Christian here, and you are tuned in for more of my 2 cents, where we dive deep into the realms of religion and deconstruction. Now, if you're joining me for the first time, hopefully you are ready for some thought-provoking conversation as we dive into and explore the intricacies of belief systems, challenge conventional thinking, and unravel the layers of faith, doubt, and discovery. Now, whether you're questioning, seeking, or simply curious, this channel is a safe space for exploring the intersections of spirituality and self-discovery. Now, let's embark on this transformative journey together. But before we do, there's 3 points that matter most. Number one, you're not alone. Number two, you're not crazy. Number three, God, your creator, still loves you, and I do too. Welcome back. Welcome back. Go grab a snack. This about to be good. This about to be a good one. I ain't got no notes. I probably should have wrote some things down. I got a lot of stuff flying off my dome, but I'm gonna find a way to land this plane and bring us home. If you are new to the channel, then welcome. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed today's discussion, topic, or dialogue. You will click around, stick around, hit that subscription button, or is it subscription, child? Subscribe. The subscribe button and join the 2 cents crew. If you are a returning to center, then hey family, we got a good one today. This is actually a video in response to an email that I received yesterday from one of our viewers. So shout out to you. Okay, you know who you are, for sending this topic over about Rod green leaf parsley on top of your spaghetti. This this is too much. It's really team too much for me. I think that what I'm going to try to do is err on the side of caution to not be. I don't want to be disrespectful to this man. I really don't. So I'm gonna try to find some way. I'm gonna try to find a way to be nice today. I got the email yesterday. I'm gonna read it. I didn't screenshot it to put it on the screen. But I love getting emails from you guys, and I appreciate you so much when you send topics, suggestions, questions, and things like that I can answer. So it starts off by saying, hey, hi, Christian. Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, girl. Hey. I'm one of your YouTube subscribers from North Dallas. Howdy, neighbor. Please know that I'm so happy for your growing success on YouTube and in your business. If you have time and if you're interested, I would love to know your take on the recent leaked video and audio recordings of Pastor Rod Parsley that show him publicly berating church employees. If you haven't heard about these incidents, here are 2 YouTube channels that you may want to check out. And so I did, okay? The first one was from Maniacs podcast. And the second one was from Mad Church Disease podcast. Now, Maniacs podcast is a channel by a former HR director. And she is telling it all, you guys. I have the description for the channel up here. It says Maniacs was created to expose abusive and toxic workplaces, much like the creator has personally experienced as an HR director at a well-known megachurch. Maniacs is a gripping podcast that delves into the shadows of corporate culture to shed light on the pervasive issue of workplace abuse. Join us as we navigate through real life stories, interviews, and actionable insights to empower listeners to recognize, confront, and combat toxic environments. From psychological manipulation to systemic exploitation, we unravel the layers of workplace abuse and offer strategies for creating safer, healthier work environments for all. Tune in to arm yourself with knowledge and be a part of the movement towards accountability and change. Now, Megamaniacs, I like the work that you're doing. Now, some would say that you are out here combating the men of God, that you are out here being used by the devil with the B, like, oh boy, mama, off of the water boy, the devil. Some people say you being used by the devil to come against Rod Parsley Flakes. But what I want you, that's going to be his name for the remainder of this video. He is Rod Parsley Flakes. Okay? Frosted flakes, parsley flakes on top of spaghetti, on top of your chicken. You use parsley on top of everything to make it look better. especially if you're taking pictures for food photography, okay? Raw parsley flakes. So the work you're doing is really the work of God. It really is. It's the exposing of the problems down to the church house. And we cannot skip past that, okay? The email continues to go on and say, unfortunately, this is another example of narcissistic exploitive abuse that some people have chosen to endure under the guise of being faithful to church. Hopefully, those under his influence will wake up sooner than later. Some of these people will need serious therapy. If you choose to refer to this email in a future episode, that's no problem. Please just refer to me as Coach A. Thank you, Coach A. I appreciate this email. I appreciate these links, and I will be sure to share them in the description of this video, because I am going to use some of the clips from the video from Maniacs. Now, this is the former HR. This gets good. This is going to be really good, you guys. So this is actually the young lady over the Maniacs podcast, the former HR director. And I need you guys to understand that this is in no way, shape, form, or fashion a witch hunt. This is an expose of witches. Okay, now you can choose who the witches are in this situation. I'm not calling them witches specifically. I don't know what Rod Parsley is. Okay, I don't know what he is, but I can tell you what he's not. He's not a man of God. All right, now I have a history, 300 videos plus history of being very consistent with my message, with my stance, and with my delivery for these people. And it is one that is not like anyone else on social media, like anyone else on these YouTube platforms. I do not care about scripture being used, about trying to put God as the only answer or solution for these things. God is not the answer for what these pastors are doing, because if God was the answer, y'all, they would be stopped. The fact that what the clips I'm about to play for you guys, the fact that Rod Parsley Flakes, Thomas Dexter Jakes, what's his, the other ones, Creflo Dollar, Benny Hinn, oh my goodness, the one, John Gray, all of these people, and that's just a few. That's just a few of the popular ones we know. But the fact that none of these people have been stopped yet, you guys, is proof. And I'm saying this as calmly as I can. It's proof that there is no one coming to save you guys. There's no one coming to save you. If salvation and saying yes to God was supposed to save you from the enemy, why are you all experiencing spiritual abuse, manipulation, exploitation, and attacks from within the church? If you chose salvation, if you gave your life to Christ, and you were supposed to be covered from then on by making that profession of faith, why are you guys literally being attacked from within the four walls of your ministries? Why are you guys literally having to read press statements from your pastors, have certain points in the sermon where your pastors are apologizing to you, having videos like the ones I'm going to play today leaked of your pastors acting up and being trash? How is this possible? How are you all escaping the wiles of the enemy, yet you all have self-created enemies leading you? You have self-appointed enemies as your covering. I just want to submit to you today for free. No charge, no Cash App, no Zelle, no PayPal, nothing. You ain't got to do nothing for this. No offering basket is going to go around. I would like to submit to you. You actually are in more danger, in bondage, being connected to these men and women of God than you would be if you were just literally by yourself. Literally. There are people who really have to go through, if they ever leave church, there are people who really have to go through therapy, counseling, healing, all of that to recover from church. This conversation is so deep that You can't just stand up and walk out. We're past that. That's kiddie pool. Okay. That's kiddie pool stuff. This stuff is getting so deep that I don't think anymore. I used to think it was as simple as just leave. These people are staying because they think they're being faithful to God. Great point you made, Coach A, in your email. But guess what? I now believe, after doing more, internal work, and after reading certain things and becoming aware of how the brain operates and what we get used to and how our minds are easily, you know, I don't want to say warped, but we can literally be trained and taught mentally to accept certain things over a specific amount of time. That's children, that's adults. But at this point, I don't believe that people are staying because they think it's God. I'm I know, y'all. I know I've been saying that I think people are staying because they think they're being good and God is going to honor them. No, I don't believe that anymore. I believe that what we're dealing with now, what we're seeing in effect now in churches, no chicken, is people who are mentally and emotionally inept. Okay? They do not have, and I know I give definitions. So let me give you guys the definition of inept. Okay? Okay. Lacking in skill or ability, incompetent. Lacking in skill or ability, incompetent. Church is full of people lacking skill or ability. They're lacking the skills that they're seeing other people exemplify. So it makes it look like something they want to reach, they want to attain. People like people, people trust people, people engage with people, people believe in people. People follow people, people are influenced by people, people uplift people. Animals can't uplift people. Okay? Clothes do not uplift people. Food does not support people. People use these instruments, food, clothes, animals, in ways to make themselves feel better. Comfort eating, right? Binge eating, shopping, overspending, overconsumption, collecting of pets and having connections and relationships and ties and emotional, dependability on your pet, right? Like for comfort. I need you guys to understand that what I'm saying is more mental and psychological than it is spiritual. Church has become a huge crutch for so many people. But I'm going to go ahead and play this video. The first one is going to show us Rod Parsley Flakes. And I just also want to talk about his transition. This man used to look like this when I was a child. This is Rod Parsley Flakes from when I was a child, because I grew up hearing him in my home. Okay, my mother was heavy on the Rod Parsley Flakes train. So you have RPF. We're going to call him RPF. Rod Parsley Flakes is what RPF stands for. I will go back and forth between the initials and the name, but just get ready. So here's RPF from back in the day. Here with the oversized suit, as you can see, the look. And now we have Zaddy. He is Zaddy. He has the facial hair. He has it's giving Santa slash garden gnome. That's the look that it's giving. He definitely looks like he has some issues going on. He doesn't look like a happy person. That's neither here nor there. So I'm going to play this first video that was shared on the Mega Maniacs podcast page. And I have to tell you guys that just listen as closely as you can, read the captions. It's whoever recorded this was doing the Lord's work. And I believe that it was the young lady from Mega Maniacs podcast. And if indeed it was her, she understood the assignment, but we're going to go deeper on why it's even sad that this even had to be recorded and that it even happened. I'll be back after this video with more of my 2 cents.
For the camera shots.
Yes, sir.
Could we wake up?
Yes, sir.
And you people want to go to Israel and do a shoot? You can't do one on the property. Why am I bringing volunteers out here to do your own stuff? My granddad died last Saturday. Don't stay home. You want to go home? Yes or no? Okay. We didn't know about this until this morning. And they only told us to do this part over here. We weren't in Israel for all week. Oh no, we've been using one man all week to run a power.
Okay, so what do we know what entrance that we're talking about to block it off?
Yeah, you did your job.
Is this the entrance?
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm
For
sorry.
the camera shots.
Yes, sir.
Could we wake up?
Yes, sir.
And you people want to go to Israel and do a shoot? You can't do one on the property. Why am I bringing volunteers out here to do your own stuff? My granddad died last Saturday. Don't stay home. You want to go home? Yes or no? Okay. We didn't know about this until this morning. And they only told us to do this part over here. We weren't in Israel for all week. Oh no, we've been using one man all week to run a power.
Okay, so what do we know what entrance that we're talking about to block it off?
Yeah, you did your job.
Is this the entrance you're saying block
I
off?
was washed and ate for You don't know nothing.
Is this the entrance? No. I would leave that alone. I would leave it alone.
I'm gonna fucking kill somebody.
All right, you guys. The gentleman that clearly was getting chewed out by RPF, Rob Parsley Flakes, he was about that. He was about that life. He had some clap back in his spirit. Now, this is just one of the videos that Mega Maniacs has posted about Rob Parsley Flakes and the tyrants that he goes off on, the berating of speech. And as you guys can see from the video, there are all adults outside. From what I gather from this video is that they were preparing for something, I believe a baptism, but they didn't have things in order, and RPF was very upset and screaming at them and was saying pretty much it makes no sense that I have to bring in volunteers to do your job. And you guys want to go to Israel and do this, but you can't even do it here. Okay? Now, I know Israel is the Holy Land and all of the things, and there have been trips being sponsored, not sponsored, but hosted, because it's not free. There have been trips hosted to Israel by him and by Benny Hinn for decades, not just a few years, but you all, I am 36. I recall them always on the TV screen, asking for money, always doing some kind of call in, prayer line, whatever, and then having these Holy Land experiences, Israel, trips and tours that they're going on. And you get to see the behind the scenes of what life is like for people who orchestrate those events, people who are the arms, the hand, the mind behind the things that you get to just show up for and pay to go on these excursions, these spiritual encounters with Rob Parsley Flakes. But this man is an entire Tasmanian devil on the front end of that, on the back end rather. You get the front end that is beautiful and glamorized in the finished product, but the people who actually had to put it together for you went through stuff like this. This man told him, my granddad just died. Rob Parsley Flakes don't care. He don't want to hear about that. He told him he didn't want to hear about that. He don't want to hear about that. You yell at a grown person or grown people, no one says anything but one person who obviously probably only says something this day because he already had a lot on him. Imagine you are going to serve at church when you should be somewhere grieving and being supported by your local ministry, but instead you're being harassed by your pastor. Come on now. It doesn't make sense. And that's why I'm saying that there is some emotional ineptness. There is some incompetence that is going on internally that's not about serving God, you all. Like, I think that that's actually a cop out to give people a reason to be dealing with this kind of stuff. But honestly, I believe it's mental. I believe people are going through so much and they're so beat down by life and experiences, and just they don't know what their purpose is, where they're meant to be. They don't know their true worth and value. So it's easy to live in the shadows of one big person than to actually find out who you are and separate yourself from toxicity. You have to have a certain kind of I don't give up about you to not be in church. I'm going to say that one more time. You have to have a very bold I don't give up about you kind of energy that will not allow you to sit under another human for religious edification, for spiritual edification. I don't need to. Yes, I needed to go to school to learn my ABCs, one, two, threes, all of the things. I don't have to go to church though. Even school comes to an end. Even your formative learning comes to an end where you go through the grades, you get the information you need to exist in the real world as you're growing and developing, and then you remove yourself. You don't have to go to college. That's not mandated. That's optional. You can seek other means in life, other avenues to be productive, a productive citizen in this world. You don't have to stay in school. Nobody can force you to do that. You can go in the workforce, you can become an entrepreneur, you can do nothing. That's your business. How is it that in church, everybody is convinced that if you don't have any relationship, any fellowship, or any leadership, you are just a stray that's about to get played with by Satan because ain't nobody covering you? Have you guys not learned enough? Have you guys not seen enough? Have you guys not heard enough of the instances? It's not a healthy environment. You're not actually growing. You're being groomed more than anything to be taken advantage of, to be scammed, to be manipulated, to be abused. It is a consistent grooming process. And over the years, you'll find that there are people who are in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, in their 70s, in their 80s, who have only known this life. And if this is your path, and if this is your truth, what do you think your future looks like when this has been all you've known for 20, 30, and 40 years? You don't know how to exist outside of it. You don't know what to do without it. This becomes what you eat, sleep, drink, breathe, believe. You don't believe anything else. And then when you see it being done in other settings like this, your mind doesn't click and say, oh my goodness, Rob Parsley Flakes is out of control. You don't believe that he's out of control because you're in it at your church. You probably feel like he ain't have to talk to him like that. Why is she recording anyway? That's what the mind of a person who is incompetent to be able to calculate and understand, I can do better. Oh, I shouldn't be in this situation. This is not serving me. Oh, this is abusive. Man, he's disrespectful. Instead of you putting those things together, you'll place blame on someone else. The guy at the end saying, I'm gonna effing kill somebody. You'll take that and make that the sin versus what Rob Parsley Flakes did. The fact that it being recorded meant to me, oh, here he goes again on another tangent. Here he goes again, being a tyrant again. Let me record him. Everybody out there was used to him doing what he did, y'all, because nobody else said anything to him. I don't know who my pastor could have been talking to like that at any point, because I would have been the guy. I probably wouldn't have said the thing, because the way the man responded to me, he wasn't saying extra stuff. Like, he wasn't saying, you're always yelling at us, you're always going off. He was just directly going back and forth with Rob Parsley Flakes. You say this, I'm going to say that. You say we're not doing this, I'm going to tell you what we're doing. You're complaining about this, let me know why we're not doing that. Hey, we just found out about this morning, and we're only doing what we were told to do. So this man didn't even go off on a tangent as well to just start blowing up and going off on Rob Parsley Flakes, even though he should have, because you're doing it to me, I'm giving you back the same energy. And this is happening in front of World Harvest Church. They say the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Child, it would have been zero after this encounter. But that's not all. Now, this next clip that I'm going to play for you guys is going to be one, it's a little more lengthy, about four minutes and some change. And this also comes from Maniacs, and it is a ministry meeting. And in here we are going to hear Rob Parsley Flakes again being disrespectful to a grown man. We'll get more into it with my 2 cents after this.
So here's not we.
Okay.
I know who called the meeting because I told them to.
Yes.
Because I knew you wouldn't. And you didn't.
But we're ready for baptism.
No, you're not.
I can. Well,
No, you're not.
well, let me walk it through you.
It'll take me 10 minutes to prove to you you're not.
Okay then. Whatever you say, sir.
Are you being smug with me?
No, I'm not. I'm saying whatever you
Don't.
say. I'm not being smug. No, I'm not.
Don't.
I'm not.
One more person grins at me, one more person smirks at me in this room, it will be the last one of you that does it. The money that is being spent in this room is obscene for what I'm getting. Obscene. I hired people to run entire sections of this place, not hold their hand through a baptism. Much less what I just went through. Are you ever going to learn not to backtalk me? Because it's been a year and you still haven't learned. You didn't call me, did you?
No, I did not.
Right. But you just said you did.
No, I said I was in the meeting.
No, that you said that the third time. No, because not everybody, constantly wants to argue with you.
I don't want to argue with you. I'm not here to argue with you.
I would hope not.
I'm not. 100% I'm not, sir. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to get the job done and help you in this vision. That's why I'm here. I'm not doing anything, sir.
How much time did you spend on this Saturday?
One which part?
Any of it?
I don't know.
Did you spend an hour?
At least 2 or 3. I did spend on Saturday. And I spent hours on Sunday. I didn't leave here till Friday night at 8 p.m. Sunday I worked. Yesterday I worked. I'm not trying to, you asked me when I'm working on it. So.
Sunday at 8 p.m.?
No, Friday 8 p.m. On the Friday 8 p.m. Saturday I worked 2 hours.
Friday 8 p.m.? So what?
No, I'm just asking you a question. I won't even talk.
Do you want rewarding?
No, I don't want any rewards. I don't want anything. I'm just here to do my work with you. That's it.
Pastor, no one spent the amount of time that what your email indicated we should spend. None of us.
Want me to read it again?
No, you don't have to, sir. I have it.
Everybody else got it?
Yes, sir.
Maybe he's the only one, for whatever reason, speaking up. Because I can go around the room and ask you how much time the rest of you spent on it. Would you like me to do that? Anyone? Anyone? When you start listing out hours, you're on the wrong side of the track.
I'm not listening. I'm not doing that, sir. That's not.
You just
That's
did!
not what I was trying to do. Pastor, I'm not trying to do that.
He was attempting to answer your question of time spent. Again, let's just move on. Let's just move on.
I'm so weary with it. I can't live. I'm so weary with it.
I understand. You are where you are, and you just try to get through.
Megan and Lori called a meeting on Sunday because I directed them to. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
I sat down and wrote this. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Why should I have to do that?
You should not have to do that.
Add up the salaries in this room.
Like you said, it's obscene.
Beyond obscene. So we're either going to perform to that level or we're going to do something else. All right. I'm ready to hear about baptism. Thank you.
Do you want to start with marketing or follow up or?
What I want.
Okay, you guys, so there's a little more lengthier piece of a meeting that they had. I have to let you guys know from experience, I have been a part of meetings like that, not where there were my pastor was going on tangents and just acting erratic. That sounded very draining. That just the energy in that room had to be so draining and awkward because you have a grown man yelling at another grown man. And it's, again, I think what I'm able to do is remove the church element from it. I don't think other people are able to do that, but I'm able to see and hear the human side of raw parsley flakes. I'm able to just look at it from the employee-employer standpoint because he said some things that are very key. And in this video, you all, I need you to understand, I am not looking at this person as a man of God at all, because it's not about being a pastor. It's about being a good person. It's about being a respectful person. It's about being a person of integrity, a person with honor, a person with dignity, and a level of emotional intelligence that allows you to engage with other people who too have feelings, and they also have emotions, and they also have self-worth and value that you should be assessing and respecting. So I need you to also separate what's going on in this video and who's doing it. Yes, we're covering this because it's raw parsley flakes, but at the end of the day, this is a man who simply has a power problem. He continues to go on ego trips. Now, the platform that continues to be given to people like this is where the problem comes in, because you have folks in close proximity to him. Oh my goodness, let me put my phone do not disturb. My son is texting me and it's coming to my phone and my computer. Sorry about that noise, y'all. So you have someone like him who has access, who has power, who has platform to always make you feel as if though your livelihood can be at jeopardy because of what you're doing to him. Because I don't know if you all heard that, but that was such a mind F when he kept taking it back to what was being done to him. Everyone constantly wants to argue with me. What? You sound like a kindergartner. Why are you messing with me? That was mine. He's hurting me. That's what you sound like. Everyone constantly wants to argue with me. Is it not that you're being combative and other people are simply responding to what you're presenting? Wild, but it's a possibility, right? It's never accountability. It's just saying what you want and then expecting people who are hearing it to say nothing back. He met his match at this table, clearly, because this man had time. And he decided he was going to say something, and I'm happy he did. The other time that Rob Parsley Flakes decided that he was going to turn it on them versus him, as if though we're not hearing it be him versus everyone, because he's literally in there just taking swings and shots at all of the people. At the end, when he said, "I'm so weary with it, I can't live." What? It's like children having a meltdown because they can't get the top off of the water bottle. Or it's as if they're having a child that's having a meltdown because his shoe won't buckle. It's like, what are you talking about? You're so weary that you can't live. What do you want to get called up to the sky? Are you ready to be returned to sender? Because based off of how you're acting, you can definitely go back. It's not a problem. You can go right back how you came. Not a problem. These are just those manipulative, actions and words that make you feel as if though you're doing something to him. It's as if though he's so tired and he's so weary and he's so beat down. I don't know what to do. I'm so weary with it. You're hollering at grown people about a baptism. You're asking people how many hours they spent on it. And then when he tells you how much time he spent on it, because he literally asked him, how much time did you spend on this part? Y'all heard it. I heard it. When the man told him 2 hours, an hour, you come back and say, when we start listing out hours, you're on the wrong side of the track. It's giving very much questions asked, and then when you respond, you're told to shut up. Ridiculous. Mind games, you all. That's why I'm saying it's not so much as serving God. I don't even think that people are thinking about God anymore in these environments. They're thinking about the person, the people that they're engaged with. Like I said, people uplift people. People serve people. People up. I mean, you're here for a man. You're here for a person. Why is Rob Parsley Flakes even in this meeting? Why is he even here? As big as this church is, you should be somewhere else, Rod. Immediately get him out of here. Please. I'm sure you all have put on enough baptisms at World Harvest to where your people know how to do it. Go on down to the Top Golf. Do something else. Don't you got some tongues to speak in? Don't you got some money to collect from a phone call? I don't know. What? What do you want? Because I don't know why you're here. You're literally causing, you're causing angst to be in the midst. And it's just so unfortunate when people have to learn how to navigate this in religious spaces. Because I don't want to say church, it's a business to me. So in these religious spaces, this is what they're being subjected to. Now, the woman, I'm assuming that it's mega Maniacs, the HR woman from the video. I'm assuming it's her in the video that says 2 or 3 times, because she was an HR director. So I'm assuming that that's her voice trying to get him to move on 2 or 3 times in this video, saying, can we just move on to something else? Can we just talk about something else? We got it. He was just answering your question. Trying to help you. I'm assuming that she is what is that word? Neutral. I'm assuming she's a neutral party. Yes, she was hired to be the HR director, but they probably hired her as a safeguard. But still, you get in here and you do this kind of stuff in front of HR, which is crazy to me, which further drives home the point that all of us say now. HR is not for you as an employee. It's not to protect you. It's to protect the company's assets and protect the company. If you go in there and say something to tell, baby, I got to report this back to the person that's going to actually make the choice, because you cannot get us all shut down. We can't all be in here, ECEC. We can't, no, we going to let you go. We going to find a reason to let you go, because you came in here and told me what was going on, and now I can't lose my job. You got to lose yours. This just the will of the Lord for us all. So with her being in that room and hearing that, nothing about that was necessary. You brought up people's pay. You brought up salaries being obscene, which is crazy to me, because why are salaries being discussed when we're talking about planning a baptism? Why is that necessary, Rob Parsley Flakes? Why are you talking about that? Again, emotional abuse, manipulation. You're making people feel uncomfortable, even though you're not going back and forth with them. You're going back with this one gentleman, but you're talking about everybody's salaries being added up in this room, being obscene, equaling up to an obscene amount. You're paying them. So clearly you have it to pay. Is that stressful for you to pay these people salaries now, Rob Parsley Flakes? You didn't have to hire all these people to run the house of the Lord. Y'all don't have to have all of this at all anyway. The amount of people you have operating every part of your ministry, as you stated in this video, is unfortunate because you've created this monster. You've created this monster of a ministry that requires all of these mannings of stations, these stations to be manned by people. You did it. Because one thing I can tell you, like y'all love to say, where God guides, God provides. If you are expanding and growing to the capacity or the level that you are, and instead of you flowing and bringing on people that can handle the task, handle the ministry, handle the requirements to make sure that it's ran and operated successfully and in excellence, you should be led to do that. You have to be a good leader first to hire other people who are going to be great in assisting that vision. That's like me hiring someone that I know is a problem, but then I'm going to do it anyway just to have someone there, but then I'm upset that they're slowing me down, or I have to go behind them and fix things or redo it or correct it or apologize to people who came in contact with that person doing wrong. I could have just not hired you. I'm making it harder on myself. In my growth season or my expansion season, I don't want to work backwards by hiring people that were meant to help me move forward. But is it not possible, you guys, that he is the weapon formed against himself, causing him not to prosper in the way that would make him not have to be a tyrant in a meeting? I mean, because on the outside, he's definitely prosperous. Let's be clear. He definitely got the coin, honey. Okay? Zaddy RPF got the coin. Look at the face. Okay? It's giving, I'm groomed, I'm taken care of, massaged with oils. That's what it's giving. But in these meetings, it's giving unhinged. And in the pulpit, on the stage, and on these flyers that his face is on, it's giving man of God. You should be happy. You should be excited. You should be honored to be aligned with me. It was never giving that, because you all are not actually who you purport to be on any of these other platforms. These are the men and women you all are dealing with in the background you're supporting. And it's funny because at this point, what I would really love to see, I want to do like a pastor challenge. Okay. Y'all know like how there's different challenges on social media. I would love to do a tithe and offering challenge where pastors tell their members, don't tithe, don't give offering for the next 3 months. And we're going to see how God shows up and bless this ministry through me as the vessel that was called. Let's initiate this challenge. Let's initiate the God will challenge. Not the God did, but the God will challenge. Won't he will? That's what y'all like to say. Let's initiate that challenge so we can see just how much faith your pastor has to lean on internally in order to get an external demonstration of miraculous of miraculous blessings, overflow, abundance, open heaven. Their heaven is as open as your paycheck and your wallet is. Their blessings are as abundant as your life is. The well-being and the abundance of his life is not based on his faith. It's based on your giving. It's based on the factors that can be figured on your giving, your charitable donations, your tax deductible offerings. That's what it is. But if we go ahead and give these pastors this good old God will challenge, and we see just how much faith your pastor has without your money included, we gonna see how long y'all got lights. We gonna see how long y'all got water. We gonna see how long y'all have a building. We gonna see how long y'all got a pastor. Because after that, he may be on OF and he might be back down to the factory line. He may be working right next to you at Toyota. He might be working right next to you down to the Chick-fil-A. We don't know. Because is their faith really in operation? Or is yours what's helping him? Because your faith has to be strong. They push that. They encourage that. They tell you to sow based off of your faith. Sow based off of sacrifice. Give. Your sacrifice equals their bottom line. If you don't feel up to sacrificing this week, I may not be able to get on that jet. That's me sipping my Jesus juice. Your sacrifice needs to be equal to my payroll this week. There is no residual income in church, you guys, other than members. Now, as a pastor, you can have books, you can have speaking engagements, and other, I was going to say other churches, but that's speaking engagements. You can have books and speaking engagements, but your sole base of income for your church to thrive and grow off of is going to be your members, them believing in the ministry and in you enough to pay for it. You all, this is not free. And him talking to whoever he was talking to like that at that table about their salaries being obscene, that cost them too. Because I'm sure they're also tithing off of that. So you're talking crazy to me. You're in here pretty much shadily threatening me by telling me that if I start listing off my hours, then I'm on the wrong side of the track after you asked me how long I'd spent on it. Games. Like I said, it's not about being a pastor here. It's about being a good person. And these people are not good people. He's not a good person. And it's not a bad thing to make that realization, but it's a dangerous thing to ignore it. It's a dangerous thing to see things like this and ignore it. And shout out to Mega Maniacs because she is growing. Her numbers are growing. And I think she has 12 podcast episodes that she's just been like uncloaking and revealing and sharing these videos. And I'm grateful that she's doing it. You all are not understanding. Your streaming services are going to get you in trouble. They already are. And I'm grateful for that. Now people are about to just start flat out recording y'all. And I would say watch your mouth and don't let people have phones around you. But no, they definitely need to continue to uncloak you. Because the thing is, it's hard to record anything and release it when you're not doing anything worth releasing. Nobody's going to release me being nice and kind. You just are. But people who feel like they don't have a voice and don't have a choice and people may not believe them if they do not have proof, that's when they record you. When your name is too big for them to be believed, that's when you get recorded. When your behavior is harmful, and if I don't get it on video, I may suffer even more because of something else you may do. That's when you get recorded. When your behavior has reached a height that nobody wants to actually address, but I know I'm planning my exit and I'm gonna play this one day. That's when you get recorded. You don't get recorded when you're giving out bonuses. You don't get recorded when you're giving people the day off early. You don't get recorded when you tell people, oh, you guys can have a full week off this summer, paid leave. You don't get recorded for that. Because you're just being a good person. You're treating people kindly with love and respect. And that was my point when I had posted the other video. And thank you guys so much for your comments and for weighing in on the indoctrination of children. I appreciate that so much. The words, the stories that's been shared, the encouragement, the suggestions on how to handle it. I appreciate you guys so very, very much. I really do. When you think of the people who are completely okay with you not saying anything, knowing that they're going to continue to do everything that they want to do to you, but they hope you never, A, change, B, say anything. Like, let me keep doing this. Let me keep on perpetuating this hurt, this pain, this trauma, this toxicity upon you. And there's nothing to be done in retaliation for it. This is the kind of setup that leads to that, the indoctrination of your pastor's never wrong. Everybody falls short. Nobody's perfect. He shouldn't be acting like this. He shouldn't be allowed to carry on this way. He shouldn't still have members, let alone staff. Who can the staff truly serve if the leader is like this? I don't even want to serve you. Surely I'm not going to come to church happy to serve people because the head is not worthy. So everything else I do is not going to be from a heart of genuine interest and desire to be kind, nice, and loving because I'm not being poured into that way. It would be difficult for love and kindness to come from my children if they didn't have that being poured into them. And vice versa with me as an adult. Yeah, you do have people that know how to use a part of their brain where they're able to be what they haven't experienced. And I love that for people. I love that. I love that for me, because I'm even being a person in certain situations that wasn't exhibited towards me. And I'm sure you're doing that too. But then you look at people like this, monsters in the pulpit, monsters with mics, monsters on stage, monsters at church, that is literally being funded and created from the audience, from the congregation. You all are creating monsters. And when they show up and they're not in your closet and they're not under your bed, they're on the stage with the Bible. What do you do? What do you do? Because you can't be saying you're seeking God for when to leave or what to do next. You see what you need to do next. You hear what you need to do next. And you don't. And then you start wondering, why am I depressed? Why do I feel down? Why do I feel discouraged? Why am I never happy? Why is there always bad news? Why am I always looking for the shoe to drop? Why, when there's something good going on and I want to share it, I have no one to share it with? People will make you want to feel like you have a home, like you have a family in church. But to be honest with you, you can't call none of those people when most of the things in your life go good or bad, because they too are dealing with something. I've never just met a whole lot of church people that always had a good, uplifting, encouraging spirit. I've never met anyone like that. I've not met 5 people from church like that. Hell, I think I barely met one that's just encouraging, uplifting, and loving all the time. Never any bad news or anything negative to say. I've never met that. I've never met it. I've never met it. I'm thinking really deep right now, y'all. I've never met a person in church like that. An older person, a younger person, nothing. I have met a newcomer that was on fire for God and excited. But I mean, they just got converted, so they didn't really know what was going on. But give them a couple of months. Your light will definitely be dimmed. You can believe that, my friend. Your light will be dimmed. Your wick will be trimmed. You will not be burning as bright as you were the day you stepped in. And as unfortunate as it is true. So that's what leads me to believe that this stuff is not about God. It's not about serving God. It's not about, I don't want to leave because God won't be pleased. No, 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 no. You are deceived, and you are truly in what I would like to consider to be a toxic soul tie and connection, where you don't know what to do next and you don't want to leave, where you don't feel like you belong or you're accepted or you fit in anywhere else. And this is somewhere that has accepted you, included you. You know these people, they know you by name. Even in the dysfunction, you're used to being in this dysfunctional environment. So you want to stick around, because if you leave, what do you do on Sundays now? What do you do on the weekends if you're not on call for raw parsley flakes? What do you do if you don't have anything to volunteer for and you see that they're taking a trip to Israel on social media, but you've left, so you're not a part? You feel isolated and alone. But when you were in it, it was a heaviness in your chest all the time. It was a lump in your throat every time. It was fatigue and anxiety all the time. You'd rather you'd rather push out your healing and your deliverance from these people by leaving. You'd rather extend your suffering by just, hey, I'm going to stick in this a little bit longer to God deliver me. Into what? You're not being delivered into anything else. There's nowhere else to go after this. You're either going to stay in it and suffer through it and accept it, or you're going to stand up, speak out, and leave. It's simple, but the choice is yours on both ends. All I know is this is not surprising. This is not alarming, because all of them have this side to them because they're human. It's not about being a pastor, a bishop, a reverend, a doctor, or any of that stuff. An evangelist, a prophet, a prophetess. You are a person. And more than likely, there are things about your person, not your pastor, but your person, that if you only knew, they are just like you. And most of the time, even worse, because they have power and they have platform and they have ego that has to be fed. And it's fed when you yell at and you demean and you berate people that you feel like need you. And no, Rob Parsley Flakes is not going to let the man from the first video go, nor the man from the second video go, because in his mind, he wants to be able to keep doing this to the same people. New people, I run the risk of them telling on me. These people, I know them. This is safe. This feels good. So what does the person in HR do? Who do you report him to? Nobody. You can't report him to nobody. Anyone. Who? He is the boss. There's no number to dial on him. It's just him. So at this point, I am grateful that these things are coming out. I'm grateful that we're able to see it more, and that these are people who have been seen as pillars and mighty men of valor and all of these other things. They're none of that. They're none of those things, and they haven't been for a while, if at all ever. But they put on a good front because it was their money maker, and here we are. They could not be who they are without you. Remember that. Let's get into a couple of these comments, and then I'm going to let you guys go. In the comment section of the Mega Maniacs video, this person said, "This is insane. How does he get away with this behavior? Jesus, help us. My heart aches for the beautiful congregation and staff of World Harvest Church." I don't know if my heart aches at this point. I feel like people are literally doing and being a part of what they believe they are supposed to be a part of. They think that this is all they are worth. They think that this is, connected to the work of the Lord. And they also feel as if though if they stop doing it, they don't have any meaning or purpose anywhere else. And so it's very sad. And again, like I said, there's no one coming to save you. You chose this person, and you can equally unchoose them. You follow a person, you can choose to unfollow them. You marry a person, they're a problem. It's not happy, it's not healthy. You can choose to no longer be married. You don't have to be in covenant with people who cause you more trauma than joy, who bring you more problems than peace, who are pillars of anger and anxiety than they are kindness and inspiration. You got to go away from me with this immediately. Someone else said, "I went to school there in the 90s. It was a very toxic place. Parsley Flakes and his other ministers were always angry. No one could question him. That ministry was built on the back of volunteers or students who come there and work for free while he's living lavishly, wanting people to constantly serve him. I feel very abused spiritually after leaving that place." I believe this. I believe it wholeheartedly. Earlier in the video, I had mentioned, after that staff video that I played, about how we used to have staff meetings as well, and our pastor wouldn't berate us like that at all, but he definitely talked stupid to us. He talked stupid to all of us sitting in that church. We would be I'm right now, open vision, I'm having it of us sitting in that sanctuary. And it's crazy because just about everybody who attended the church was also on staff. If you know, you know, small ministries are like that. And we would be sitting in those little lavender chairs in the sanctuary, and he would just be going on tangents, not staying focused on the order of the meeting. We would be in those meetings for hours, you all. They would start at 6, so you got people that came directly from work to these staff meetings, and we would be in there until 10 o'clock at night, just listening to him talk and hear himself talk, and then listening to him talk. And don't ask a question, because that's just going to take him off on a whole another path. And before you know it, he's saying things and projecting attitudes and energy that we don't know where it's coming from. We've been reprimanded. We've been told about rushing him during service. Like, we were all openly as adults being sunned by one person for something that we didn't even come there to hear and talk about. It wasn't for that. We were coming to talk about key certain things coming up in the ministry, but they always ended up being a huge umbrella issue that just had to be addressed right then. And nobody wants to talk about what to do when your pastor is attacking you. What do you do? What do you do? Because even in that instance, I never stood up, walked out, or anything like that. I would just be sitting there like, this man is crazy. That's what I would be thinking. Me and my husband would talk about it after we left. But it was like, even internally, nobody talks about him to each other. And that's another big part of how this stuff goes on. Everybody feels as if though they would be going against the man of God. So nobody ever internally talks to one another about him. Because your mind is so warped and you're so brainwashed to think that any conversation about him is against him. When you all are just witnessing, comparing notes, and saying, yeah, no, I see it too. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, he totally went left on that. It's nothing to just say that to one another, but you feel as if though you're going against the man of God. You feel as if though you're betraying the man of God. You feel as if though, you're going to be judged by God for saying something about the man of God. When in all honesty, y'all really should be comparing notes so y'all can both get up out of here. Everybody. Like, have another meeting after the first meeting to see if we all on the same page about that meeting and need to leave. That's what needs to happen. There needs to be more conversation. There's not enough conversation. So hearing this, and I believe it wholeheartedly. We talked about it in the Dancing for the Devil video, how Robert Shin of Shekinah Church was using the members of his church to work for him in his businesses for little of nothing, for $60 and $100 a week, had them working in 2 and 3 of his businesses for 12 and 14-hour days. This stuff is disgusting. I do not doubt this. I do not doubt that Rob Parsley and majority of these pastors who have these schools of prayer, these schools of theology, they do that because just like wealthy, rich people find the loopholes and the tax breaks, they have been informed by financial, what are those people called? Not analysts, but by their financial people that'll tell them, hey, you need to go ahead and do this because this is going to get you this break. Go ahead and start a school, start this, get some, public funding, get some government funding, get some grants, get some scholarships, offer this to these kind of people, get this a certain amount of the the enrollment to be subsidized or whatever, get this amount to be unsubsidized, you qualify for this much. These people know. They are literally out here getting information to be able to scam the nation in the name of Jesus. Next comment. The sad part is Mr. Parsley Flakes has behaved like this for over 30 years. And that's what I gathered too when I heard him in the first video. I was like, this is giving what Diddy was giving in that video with Cassie when he chased that girl down that hallway in that hotel like that in broad daylight public. Anybody else could have came out their room and saw him, and he did not care because he is used to being a problem. He is used to acting up. He is used to turning up on people at a moment's notice and at the drop of a dime. If you say one thing or look at him in one kind of way, it's almost as if they want to prove who they are to you. And the only way to drive it home for nobody else to try them is to make an example out of you. And they do that so many times for so many reasons, so long. And then everybody starts to believe, I don't want to piss him off. I don't want to make her mad. I don't want to get on their bad side. Shouldn't be like that. I wouldn't expect him to apologize because in his mind, he is justified to treat people the way he does. He sees himself as a prince of the kingdom of God. Oh my God, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Pride goes before a fall and a haughty spirit before destruction. And this is the destruction part. This is where all of this stuff is crumbling down. People in church love to talk about the kingdom of darkness falling. You all are literally watching these kingdoms fall. I don't like the term kingdom. I don't like the term because in my mind, I'm like, that has never meant anything good for the people within it. Like you have the villagers, you have the common people, and then you have this huge kingdom erected in the center, right? Like, think of any show you've ever watched. What comes to my mind is the Game of Thrones, the House of Lannisters. You have all of these different houses, right? All of these different people, the House of Starks, the Stark House, whatever. You have all of these people with all of these kingdoms, and then you have the common folk that work, that live in the slums, and they're living horribly. And you have this center erected beautiful castle with other people living way better than you, and you ain't welcome to the door. The only time they summons you to the court is when they want to show you something, tell you something, command something of you, or take somebody out that did something to make an example out of them so you don't do it next. That's literally what kingdoms do. It's not for power for the people. It's to continue to create a subservient level to their hierarchy. Everybody ain't finna get in the kingdom. You can work up in here, but that's all you're going to do. You're not going to be going home. You ain't going to have no off days, baby. If you run my bath and, rub my neck with a loofah and some soap, that's what you finna do. And then when you get done, you're going back to your lair, to the dungeon. You're not going back home amongst the common people because I may need another bath in the morning. Period. If you're supposed to be up here putting me in all of my garments and snatching me up in my little bodice, what's the bustier? You're not going to be able to just go home. You have to be available at all times. So when you think of these people saying kingdom, building God's kingdom, building the kingdom, it's theirs. You're the common folk that have to go to work, but then you get to come back on Sundays just so they can tell you something, explain something, express something, command something from you, right? Then you go back to where you are, but be ready to serve me again at any moment's notice. We're having Bible study. We're having prayer meeting. We're having a phone call. We're having a conference. Be here, be here. Don't take vacation. Be here, be here. Do this for me. Be here. Sacrifice. Be here, give. Be here, sow. Be here, tithe. That's what you have to do. The kingdoms are set up the same, y'all. You all are not going to be at the top. Period, point blank, the end. The next person says, a lot of things are starting to make sense to me. I always wondered where a lot of Valor staff in leadership would get this type of behavior from. I now know it came from the head, Pastor Parsley Flakes. I was under the impression for years that the staff acted like this only at Valor and the pastor and church leadership were unaware. They got this behavior from the example that the pastor sets. Ding, ding, ding. Let the cash register ring. That's exactly where they get it from. The insane things that happened at Valor, including me almost unaliving twice, and them covering up, makes so much sense. This is the behavior that they are going off of. It's so sad. I pray so heavily for Valor students to heal. I truly hope one day we all heal from this trauma. Who's putting out the Surviving Christianity document? I want to be a part of it. Who put it together? I ain't got the time. If I did, I would. Maybe if I got me an editor for my channel, I could put together a Surviving Christianity documentary or a video. Because at this point, there are stories, you all. I know y'all have stories. I got stories. We all have stories. At this point, what it is to be a survivor of your belief system, something that could have taken you out, something that almost probably did, something that's probably still in the back of your mind as trauma and toxicity and hurt that you just don't know how to get over. Keeping you from having healthy relationships, keeping you from trusting people, keeping you from connecting honestly with people. Things that are keeping you from believing yourself and listening to your own voice more than the voice of someone else. There are people really struggling because of their experiences with church. There are people sitting in church right now going through trauma and they don't know what to do. And the way that the body handles trauma, it's not good. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. It manifests in forms of disease. Trauma is disease in the body. You're uneasy about something. You're uncertain. You don't feel good. You don't feel safe. You don't feel connected. You don't feel protected. You don't feel supported. You don't feel confident. You don't feel valued. You don't have purpose. You don't know what to do. It's disease. You're never at ease. You never have peace. You're never operating in joy. You're never just existing in the flow. You're never aligning with what's for you. Everything is a prayer and supplication, is a fast and a permission-based living. When are you just going to flourish? When are you just going to thrive? When are you going to go from survival mode to thriving? Ask yourself these questions. Why is this my point of being? Why is this my point of interest? Pray my way through it. Why? I just want to live. I don't want to have to pray about everything. I don't want to have to fast about anything. I don't want to have to shut in at no point. I just want to breathe. I want to ask. I want to receive and move on. Real questions that require real answers, but someone from church will give you a biblical response that still does not break down how we got here and how do we move forward. The last comment I'll read is, I was forced to go to this church from the time I was born till I was about 16. This church is demonic and sickening. I went through demonic interaction growing up there. I love that you're speaking up. No comment. No comment. No, people are not making this stuff up. This is not an attack of the enemy on the church. I said it earlier in the video. It's amazing how people have chose salvation. People have come to church to be saved, set free, healed, and delivered. Yet they get there and they are immediately put into shackles in their mind, in their body, in their spirits, in their finances, in their personality, in their character. They villainize everything about who you are and make you feel as though you can only exist and have your being in them through Christ. It is sick. It is disturbing. It should actually be studied. And I am not kidding about the Surviving Church document, because at this point, or Surviving Christianity document, because documentary, because at this point, this is literally what we're expecting. We're thinking right now that we're going to see, or that we're seeing mental health issues stem mainly from what's in food or weather, climate, school, bullying, poor parenting or something like that. I believe that a lot of this stuff is stemming from organizations, from, yes, lack of life in work balance, culture, people just truly not being free. There are too many people suffering because they are not operating in their true calling, and they are not free. If you think about what nature does on its own without being forced, without being pressured to do it, a tree grows in its own time. Weeds even grow in their own time and sprout up wherever they choose, because it's freedom to just be where they are in their natural state. So many of us are conforming on a regular basis to perform, to show up, to engage, and to present as if we're something that we're not. And it's hurting people. And by and large, the church has been a huge, huge factor in people showing up and portraying something that they're not. And as we're seeing more and more of this stuff uncovered, as we're seeing more and more people talk about their experiences and the suffering, my video on why I quit church, every week I'm getting comments, I'm getting alerts, I'm getting new people commenting and finding the video and saying, yes, amen, I agree, this is why I left. Thousands of people, it's not a few, and I know my video ain't the most popular one. There are so many others with hundreds of thousands of views and comments. But the fact that they exist, that we exist, that this is where we are, and we're still having to pinpoint this stuff out. You all, these videos should be getting hundreds of thousands of views, not just hers, but mine, because we're speaking truth. We are speaking truth. We're not making stuff up. This is not a witch hunt, like I said. We're not out here trying to find people and find things and expose it and talk about it and be problem children. This stuff is actually happening. None of these videos could have been recorded if Rod Parsley Flakes hadn't done it. No way, no how. No way. Nobody forced that. That's not AI. He really did it. He's really probably doing it right now. Or he just did it the other day. Or he's going to do it later today in a meeting. We don't know. But these are real people attacking and harming real people. And then they have to go out into the world and figure it out. And determine or pray for a spirit of heaviness and a burden to be lifted, but you're going back into it every week thinking that you're getting God's grace and peace and favor. It's not happening. You're in bondage. You're in bondage, and you're signing up for it every week, every year, every month. And then when you get to a point where you don't know what else to do, and you're at the end of it all, you're not really excited anymore, you just keep going out of habit, out of ritual, because you don't have any more fight in you, you don't have any more life in you, you don't have any more vigor, like you have nothing to give. The youthful side of you that could have pushed forward and pushed through a little bit more, you don't even want to do that. You ain't got no clap back in your spirit. You're just conforming. And that's how people like this retire off of church. He's going to retire from church. He's 74. I don't even know why he's still doing it other than greed and ego. Because he definitely should have retired by now. If he was in the regular workforce, he probably would have. But this rich white man does not need this church. He's choosing to continue to have the church because it presents access and it presents power and authority that he could not get if he was just at the house with his wife, which is probably something else he doesn't want to do all day. So, yeah, the video, not shocking at all, but I think we need to do a better job of giving people open, safe space to just be honest and say, I know I'm not doing this for God. I know I'm not at church for God. I'm at church because of the people. I'm at church because of the pastor. And I do not know how to disconnect. I am in a soul tie with my church. I am in an ungodly, unclean soul tie with my pastor. And I want to be freed. I want to be released. Because there's no other excuse for why anyone would be sitting underneath this and accepting it. I don't believe it. I do not believe it at all. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go. If you enjoyed the video, please comment. Let me know your thoughts on these videos from Rod Parsley Flakes. What's your take? What do you think should be done, if anything? We're not calling for no boycott of his ministries because people are not going to do it. They're not. They truly believe that sowing seeds into his ministry is going to get them blessings. It's a sick, sad truth, but it's one that he's done his job for decades to hammer that belief, and it is working. Because when I Googled his name, do y'all know what some of the main things were that came up? Because when you Google something, you guys, you can see like what the most popular or common things are. Like just by typing one or two words in, it'll show you like the other popular things. So when I type in Rod Parsley flakes, okay, just Rod Parsley. Rod Parsley Church comes up. Rod Parsley, Chancellor of Valor Christian College, Rod Parsley Net Worth, Rod Parsley News, Rod Parsley Wife, Rod Parsley Audio, Rod Parsley Prayer Line. In that order. Net Worth, News, Wife, Audio, which is obviously what I just played for you guys, is trending right now, and Prayer Line. People are looking for the Prayer Line phone number, and it comes up. It comes up. I'm not going to read it out loud because I don't want you to call it. Nope, I do not want you to call this number. You'd be better off calling Domino's. They're going to come when they tell you they're coming. Nothing else. No. Do not call this number. So people are searching, you guys. People are searching. People are looking. I just added to that because I clicked on it. But my point is, it's not about asking people to boycott or not go or not support him, because it's going to happen. People are not supporting the kingdom of God anymore. They're just supporting people. And we have to be okay with that truth and that reality. So I don't know where we go from here. I just think that it's beautiful that Mega Maniacs is doing her job. The other gentleman that covered the video is doing his job and just revealing this stuff. Because if you don't do the work now, somebody else may fall for it later. And it will be I wish I heard. I wish I'd known. I wish somebody would have said something. And maybe my video will catch a couple of hundred people's attention. I sure hope so. Because it's a lot of work to be done. And they've been doing it for a very long time. And I'm just here to tell you it's not the work of the Lord. All right? Okay. I will catch you guys later in the next video. Take care. Bye.